Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectMeWithTiffany. Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and we are going to get you today to finally lose that stress and that brain whacking over how to name your services and products so they actually stand out and sell. I can't tell you how many friends of mine and so many of you who say, I'm so bad at naming things. Oh my God, I hate naming things. Like, that's the least favorite part of coming up with any of the services or programs or products that you want to put out there. Whether you are someone who has an actual physical business, you know, in the beauty industry or fitness industry, or you have an e-com store, you're a coach, whatever it is, so many of you hate naming your stuff. It's not fun for you. Well, lucky for you, that's one of my favorite things to do. I love when people come to me and ask me, I'm trying to figure out a good name for my course, or a good name for my podcast, or a good name for, you know, my eyelash tinting services or my restaurant or whatever it is. I love it. It's all in a name, you guys. I'm sure you've heard that said before. What you name your business, your brand, your services, your products, your offerings, your freebies, all the things is so, so important. I mean, it can really make your business take off really quickly. You can even go viral with it, or it can kind of make it just not connect and poke along. Can a business survive with a weird name? Sure, sometimes a weird name is what makes sense for your brand, right? I mean, let's even think of Nike. Like, I don't know the history behind that name. I should, since I have 500 pairs of Nikes. But Nike's kind of a weird name, right? I mean, it is. It's a really weird name. But this is a giant company who pump tons and tons and tons and tons and hundreds of millions of marketing dollars into getting their name out. So I just want, for the first thing I want to say is, don't go, well, I can come up with some like really weird kind of random clever name, because look at all these other businesses out there. Like, look at Lululemon, right? I mean, or even a name like Amazon, or how about Tesla, right? But these are big freaking companies who have a lot of money to put behind marketing dollars. They have influencers, they have celebrities, they're on TV, they do tons of advertising. I could go on and on. So I would not compare it to that unless you have that kind of money to put behind it, or you have that level of influence. I would really more so focus on the things I'm going to tell you today. So I'm going to give you like my top 3 things, because I, my rule of threes, have to do that. But I just threw in a bonus one for you. The first thing is, when naming your products, services, all those things, your company even, You want to use words or phrases that your ideal target client actually speaks and thinks, not the more eloquent version of how to say something, the actual like crude, down and dirty, raw way your ideal client thinks or speaks when she's talking, she or he is talking to their best friend, to their spouse, to themselves. Or if you're like me, you actually talk to yourself out loud and answer yourself. Is this an only child thing? All of my only children, please DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany and let me know. Like, is this, I kind of have this theory it's an only child thing, or kids who were like, do you guys remember like the term latchkey kids? Like where you had like you raised by like a single mom like I was, and you had to come home from school and maybe no one was there, or that kind of a thing, and no one was around and you get bored and you start talking to yourself. I really think that's where this was born. I need to know. Anyway. All right. So the first thing is, like I said, use words or phrases your ideal client actually thinks or says. So here's an example. Here's how you would actually talk, right? Like if I'm talking to my best friend, I'm so overwhelmed. I just hate my job, girl. I hate it. Versus I am really, I am really at my limit, and I am considering a significant career pivot and or transition in my life. Like, damn well over a spicy margarita, skinny, of course, that you are not saying that shit to your friend or to your significant other. Like, are you joking? And damn well sure you're not thinking that way. Like, even if you're really damn smart, maybe you use a couple more big words than I would use, but not much bigger, right? Human beings take the path of least resistance, and that even comes when we think and when we can just casually speak and not have to find words, versus being, maybe in a corporate meeting, or when I'm doing a speaking gig or a sales training. I do select my words more carefully. But you still want to make sure you're using words, phrases, and things that your ideal client actually uses. This also goes for feelings, right? So I use the word overwhelmed here. That is an actual term that Sally Sandeb says all the time. I'm overwhelmed. I'm exhausted. This is too much for me. Does she use words like I'm flabbergasted? Or I'm trying to think of something else. Of course, this is FMA from my ass. Does she use words like I'm really pondering a career change? No, she doesn't. So if you don't use words that your ideal client's actually using and thinking and saying, you are not going to be able to connect to them. It's not going to grow that like, no trust factor. You're going to seem too formal, too stiff. It's just not going to connect. Okay, the second thing is you got to ditch that vague, silly marketing language, that marketing speak, as I call it, and get clear as fuck. So what I mean by like that vague, silly marketing language, and I have to check myself on this too, since I've, been in marketing and sales for a long time. There's so many words and phrases that sound really fun, like 6 weeks to a six pack. Right? Stuff like that. That sounds great. We've seen it on headlines. We've seen it in a million different magazines. But people are kind of hip to the skip now. They're being marketed to so much because of, obviously we've been in the age of the internet for a couple decades, and the social media era is alive, well, and booming. So people are being inundated much more with marketing speak than they were before, right? In the past, like when I was growing up, it was like, what's up, teen magazine? Who remembers YM magazine, by the way? YM stood for Young Miss. Glamour, all those, it was like we got it in magazines, we got it in commercials. that's really where we got it from, billboards, that kind of stuff. Whereas now it is all day, all the time. I mean, you know what? I've got a vent on this. You guys know I'm obsessed with 90 Day Fiance. So we're watching and I, of course, record everything because mommy doesn't have time for commercials. But sometimes when I'm really obsessed with a show, I'll watch it live. I have problems if I'm watching it live. But during every single commercial, I annoy the shit out of Mike because it's very boring to me and I have to occupy myself. So I just annoy the crap out of him. And in the bottom corner is something in the TV industry we call bugs. So there's an actual bug on the screen of, let's say it's the TLC network. You'll have the TLC logo in the corner and then they'll pop up. Now they're popping up shit letting you know about a new show. And they were kind of subtle about this, for quite some time. And now it's gotten crazy where where the pop-up is so big, you can't see what's going on. Why am I talking about this? I don't even know. But I do have to give a shout out to my latest new show, My Feet Are Killing Me. And you guys know, those of you who've watched it, you're horrified that you're watching it and you can't stop dying. I have so many hysterical stories about that show. Anyway, I want you to ditch that vague, silly marketing speak. It sounds fun. And I think what happens is those of us who are starting businesses or in business, we watch so many other people's stuff, for market research to get inspired. Sometimes it's because, some of you guys are in a lot of self-doubt and you feel like you've got to do it how, Polly the influencer is doing it. And so we end up picking up on a lot of this language that ends up being #basic. So instead of saying let me see, let's say you are wanting to teach someone, how they can make money side hustling. It's side hustle your way to success. That's marketing speak. That's vague marketing speak. What in the hell does that mean? Why in the hell would someone click and want to learn more on that? It's yeah, they might want a side hustle, but it's not specific enough. That's kind of being lazy, really. That's what my news director, my first TV news job at NBC would say when I would turn in stuff that was kind of like that. We're writing teasers and headlines and he'd take a red pen and write back lazy, which I really annoyed me at the time, but I'm thankful he did because I'll say it to myself now. Nope, that's lazy. It's using words where it's you're adding words very, to, so much, versus finding a better word to use. So instead of saying things side hustle your way to success, why not have it be something of course it's FMA. I should have written this down, but side hustle to $600 a week. Something like that, where you're being much more clear and specific around what you're teaching. Now, don't say that if your program isn't around teaching someone to make $600 a week. By the way, fun fact, if you're network or affiliate marketing, I think it would be a really smart niche that is totally not well populated to teach people how to just make a little extra money, $600 a month, an extra $500 a month, and not go after becoming, a six-figure or millionaire with network or affiliate marketing. I'm just saying, not everyone wants to go that big. All right. The third thing is, and I've said this before to you guys, but I'm going to repeat things over and over and over again that you need to hear so that it sinks in. And then you hear my voice in your head and you're like, oh my God, Tiffany's haunting me. And that is simple sells and complexity repels. When I say simple, I mean in the words you pick, do not pick big words, people. Do not pick big words. So in the journalism world, in the marketing world, TV news and most publications, you have to pass it's like a 6th grade reading test. If a 6th grader cannot read and comprehend what you're sharing, they make you rewrite it. Yes. There are certain publications that are geared towards an ideal client in a different, I guess you could say, educational bracket, like the Wall Street Journal, the Christian Science Monitor, for example. Those are like 8th grade, 8th grade freshman year of high school reading and comprehension level. The USA Today, you know why USA Today is so popular? 3rd grade reading and comprehension level. No, I'm not kidding. That's why they use pictures, they have charts, and that, in my opinion, is also why that is one of the #1 sold newspapers in the world. Because it's easy to read. Who doesn't love pictures? Just like children's books. And you don't have to think so hard, and it doesn't make anyone feel stupid for not understanding certain things or words. We get very lazy. We're so inundated with all sorts of information coming at us, our personal lives. We're tired. Just fucking tell me, just tell me, what are you selling? What is it? I see this a lot when I work with people who have online stores or they have in-person businesses. Maybe they're a makeup artist, a photographer, they do hair, eyelash extensions, facials, that kind of thing. And they want to name their different services that they offer. They want to have it be fun, which I'm all about fun. But if you go too far with the fun, like unicorn glitter facial, like what in the hell does that mean? Like no one knows what that means. So you can have fun, but still make sure it's simple and clear. People don't want to have to think hard. And if you make them have to think hard, they won't remember it, or they'll just click off. They'll never maybe tell you this, right? But they'll just click off. So that's like, for example, why... I'll give an example right now, actually, and it's giving you guys a gift at the same time. So I'd professionally created for you guys, since all of you get so overwhelmed with the content monster, having to put out so much content on so many platforms, and it can't be basic, and it needs to look good. And oh my God, I have, now I have to serve my clients on top of it, on top of having the content. And I also still am working a job, and I have kids, and I have all these other things I have to do. And I have to hand press my celery juice. This is way too much. So we created for you a full graphics package that's done for you, a month worth of free graphics that are pre-sized for every single platform you use. So that's for Instagram in your feed, Instagram stories, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, all done for you in this graphic pack. And what we picked for things to create for these graphics, these are things you can use in between your more, personal posts, or when you're using, photos of yourself or that kind of a thing. These are great things to use in between. Pinterest loves this stuff. Stories loves this stuff. We picked things based on, my ideal client, all of you. So it is definitely geared in the color scheme towards women. And the quotes are very empowering and impactful. And the visuals are really strong, yet clean and beautiful. So all these are done for you. So I just took a lot off your plate. And to go and get that free graphic suite, all you have to do is go to projectmewithtiffany.com/free graphics. projectmewithtiffany.com/free graphics. If you are multitasking, doing something crazy, and you can't remember projectmewithtiffany.com/free graphics, well, my Instagram, or you should by now, at ProjectMeWithTiffany, and you can DM me, and I will write you back and drop the link in there for you so you guys can get this. That's gonna definitely take some work off your plate. And that's exactly why we created it, because I sat here and went, what can I do to make their lives easier and give them a reprieve, like something that's done for them that I enjoy doing, that my team enjoys doing, and that it would feel really good and high vibe for me to gift to them, and it would feel really good on the receiving end. So that's how we came up with it. But notice how simple that was, right? I just told you, that was just a perfect example of explaining what it is to you. They're free, done for you graphics, period, end of story, that are sized for all of your platforms. I didn't have to go in there and call it vibe your way to grow your following, or something like that. I just told you what the hell it is, where to get it, and I kept it all simple and straightforward and put the word free in front of it because it is. There's a great example, and guaranteed a lot of people are going to go to it. You know exactly what you're going to get. When you land on the landing page, it is going to confirm you're getting exactly what I said, and then you get the damn thing. So here is another cool thing that I want to remind you guys that I'm doing for you. Any one of you who takes the 90 seconds to go and write a 5-star written iTunes review on the show, and it has to be in iTunes, and no, you don't have to have an iPhone or an Apple computer to do a review in iTunes. And you can simply Google how to leave a podcast review in iTunes, and it'll give you the step-by-step if you don't know how. For doing that, I want to say thank you, and I want to buy you a coffee drink of your choice. So, I don't know what your jam is. Mine is very complex. And well, if I'm out, depends. Because see, if I'm at Dunkin' Donuts and it's warm out, it's like an iced hazelnut with cream, but light on the cream. And then I usually end up bringing my own sweetener. Like I put 2 stevias in there. I try not to have equal anymore. I guess that's like really bad for you. So I'm like the 80-year-old that brings her own like packets of shit everywhere. You should see when I go on vacation. Mike's like horrified. He's like, what's next? Salad dressing? I'm like, oh, that's a fantastic idea if I knew it wouldn't leak. And then if I want a warm beverage, I'm all about like a nutty flavored coffee. So it'd be like almond flavor or hazelnut flavor, ideally Dunkin' Donuts, 2 stevia packs, cream, but like light on the cream. I'm all down for it. But if you guys are more like mocha people, or you want to treat yourself to like, a caramel macchiato, let me do that for you. And if you're down with the celery juice or a pressed juice, or there's some kind of, crazy smoothie drink that you've been wanting to try, just let me treat it to you. Don't have it as an excuse that it's an extravagance or it's a luxury and I shouldn't spend money on it. I'm going to treat you to it, but you do have to do something for me. And if you love the show, because I want it to be genuine, leave a 5-star written iTunes review. And then all you need to do is DM me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany and let me know you left the review. It would be better if you gave me a screenshot of it and included that in there. Just make sure in your review you put your full name, or you at least put your Instagram handle. That way I can verify, that you actually did leave it and we can find your review. And that's that. I hope you guys love this episode. Any questions that you have on naming your stuff, in the post that went out today on my Instagram, on Facebook, on all the things, I said for the first 10 people, if you drop something that you really want help with and having it named, I will name it for you for the first 10 people. So I would head over to that post at ProjectME with Tiffany and try to get in that first 10 people, and let me, a very, very experienced and talented marketer, rework that title for you or help give you a title, and then you're off and running. So love you guys. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.